Okay. I've been dying to talk to you for it's been 3 years. This is weird that this is the first time we get to talk. 3 years
Right?
in. But if I could ever get my screen up. But yeah, man, like your team is your team is monstrous. It's been monstrous from the beginning. I
Yeah, I agree, but this year it's been a little bit different, you know? I feel like I put together some pieces in the off season, but I still feel like I'm chasing one of those bye weeks this year versus previous years. I felt like I was more dominant out the gate.
yeah. Yeah, I think like looking back at it and looking back at the auction that we did on that sleeper draft, I think what you did that I didn't really think about was the whole wide receiver. You
Yeah, yeah.
I look back on it like because I study it
Okay.
and I'm like, what did Naaman do that was so good? And it was that you got Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Cup. You got like six prime time receivers all like on your team in the beginning. Like, and I was going like running back heavy, like Derrick Henry, and I tried to get like Dobbins and like
Oh yeah.
guys that I thought were gonna come up, like Javonte Williams and Carter, the North Carolina rookies. I got Chase. I was thinking young rookies, guys that people weren't paying attention to, but you did it way better. You were just like, I'm just gonna get all the stud receivers.
Yeah, I also kind of practice a little patience too, right? There was a lot of overbidding going on at the beginning.
Yeah,
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of sit tight
yeah,
and
yeah,
then kind of start, making my bids here once some of these other players and like heavy bids are off the board a little bit.
yeah. It all worked out for you because those first couple of years, it was like the team, there was no way around that team.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah, yeah.
what happened this year that was so different? Like, I know that you
No,
got,
yeah, yeah. So okay, so when I kind of look back, right, year one, I felt like that was probably my strongest team that was injury free, and so I felt like I cruised through for the most part. Year two, I had some injuries toward the end. I limped into the finals, only to lose. Last year though, that was a little bit different. So I had to get one of those wild cards, and then it just kind of came together. It wasn't like a dominant season like year one or even year two regular season wise, but it seemed to kind of come together. This year, I was thinking it was going to be more similar to year one, just with the acquisitions of, Tyreek Hill, recently, Derrick Henry. Um, but the thing is, it's like the way I look at it, McBride,
McBride.
too. Yeah, yeah,
You, you,
McBride.
you,
So,
you gave him to me for Jamar Jason, and you got him back. Like you stole
yeah.
him back.
Yeah. But the thing too is like when I look at it, right? Well, I compare like, your fantasy football players, and especially these elite players, is like having an X number of nukes on your team, right? And so the more nukes you have on your team, they can single-handedly win you a given game. But this year, what I find is like they haven't all gone off, in synchrony in a
Yeah,
sense. Like I
yeah,
feel
on the
like,
same weeks.
yeah, then that's the thing. And so I'm still waiting for that. With the exception, I guess, of this past week where Jamar Chase and the Burrow blew up, and I had some complimentary other players, so it got me the high score. But even then, like I had other players that still kind of delivered some duds. So that's kind of what I'm looking for is just being healthy for this playoff push, and then just looking for that one game in the playoffs or even championship, hopefully, where it all comes together.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you Chase, but in the summer, but nobody else wanted to make any type of decent
Yeah,
offer.
yeah,
Like Gamut traded me like DJ Moore and a second round pick. I was
yeah.
like,
That was
man, I've been telling you guys for 3 months I'm trading Jamar Chase. Like if you want him, like I'm telling you, I want 4 or 5 guys. Like McBride was on an up and up. Shakir, he was gonna start. Like those were
yeah,
all. I was looking at everybody's team.
right,
And
right,
I was like, if I'm trading with Naaman, I want McBride.
yeah,
I want Shakir, Cooper Cup. The reason I thought Cooper Cup was because I could trade him. I didn't really want him. I just was going to just swivel him out to somebody else
yeah,
because I think in your league, in that 10-team sleeper league, I think a lot of people like names, like big names.
Yeah,
So like I'm like, yeah, you
yeah,
could have the big name of Cooper Cup. I think he's injury prone and I think he's on a decline.
yeah,
I'll take him and then I'll sell him to somebody else. And I did, and it worked out. I thought. I think I got Rashee Rice from him, but then Rashee Rice got injured. Like I traded him before he got injured, but it ended up getting me Rashee Rice, but then ended up getting me Jordan Reed. But then Love got injured. So like, and then he's injured again.
yeah,
So it's like I kind of I thought the strategy was going to work, and it seemed like it was in the beginning, and then it just, as you see, like the record is what 3-6 for me. It's all crumbling.
yeah. Those injuries hit you hard, man.
Yeah, it's crumbling, and the love not coming off to a fast start. I kind of regret. Um, I regret letting go of Kirk Cousins because he had like 2 or 3 big weeks that if I had him and started him, I would have won. Just
Yeah,
by
yeah,
having something simple like Kirk Cousins. Also Mooney. I traded away Mooney, and he's had like 3 or 4. Cousins and Mooney together have had some really big games, and
oh, they have, yeah.
it hurt me a little bit letting go of Mooney. I threw him in as a trade piece with Mixon, and that trade totally bombed. Even though Mixon, I don't think he's long term. Our league is dynasty for years, so I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I thought
I think he's got maybe another
year.
year at max.
Yeah, a lot of people are waving, and I'm trying to get off the screen,
Yeah.
but it's not working. Anyway. So yeah, that's it. You're beasting on the sleeper league. Is
The other
there
one, I was
is
gonna
there
say the other,
somebody is there
yeah. Oh,
somebody
sorry,
on
go
the
ahead.
sleeper on your bench, or is there somebody that you're targeting? You did really good by picking up Darnold at the beginning of the year, and then you
Yeah,
traded him to get McBride.
yeah, yeah,
Like that really worked out double time. It worked out because you got to use him at the beginning of the year, and now he's like
Y-
dropping, and you
yeah.
got you got rid
And
of
yeah,
him.
I actually needed him at the beginning of the year because I had my own injuries
Tua.
and stuff, so it kind of helped out.
Yeah.
But
So
I, uh,
talk to me about the other one, the other league that you
yeah, yeah.
were you
So
were
that
like
one's
0 and
that,
4
yeah,
and
yeah.
came
So
up.
okay, so that one's interesting to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
that one, it wasn't looking good. I started 0 and 4 out the gate. Like I was like, man. And then I also had some injuries. Like Higgins has been barely serviceable. And then I mean, I'm trying to think now. I think I had like a couple other injuries in that league too. But I think now the last few weeks, I think I've won 5 out of the last 6, I
Yeah.
think, something like that.
Yeah. You're
So right
you're
back in,
rolling.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
think you
right back in
started
the
0 and
mix.
4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I needed to put together some wins, and then so the one pickup I think that saved me in that league is that Hubbard, that Hubbard pickup.
Yeah, that was my drop because, and I that hurt because I was like, everyone was saying Jonathan Brooks is gonna come in week 5, week 6, and Hubbard's gonna be obsolete, and I kind of believed that hype. And also I had Barkley and I had Gibbs. So I'm like, I never really like going running back heavy, as you can see. Like I don't go running back heavy. I think they're usually not this year that much. Usually there's a lot of running back injuries. So I'm like, I'll just wait and pick up one of these backups
Yeah,
week 3, week 4, week 5, which usually works. This year, that strategy has not worked at all. Plus, I didn't think I needed the running backs. That league is only one running back starter.
agreed,
I
agreed.
was like, I'm gonna go wide receiver heavy, and I did, and I thought I did good. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Kirk, a lot of them flunked. Jameson Williams with the suspension, he flunked, right? Lad McConkey, it was like a steal from Mina. I thought he was gonna have a monster rookie year. Not really. He's at like 2 games. Um, and then also Devontae Smith because I thought he was steady, but he hasn't been steady. It's just like
Yeah, I know,
um,
I know.
and Jaden Daniels was fine, except for this week he only 8 points. But besides this week, he's been stellar. Um, but all my idea of a wide receiver stack and just have 2 really good running backs, it didn't work.
Yeah, and that league too. It's like it's like a shorter bench too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you like I said, you really have to strategize in terms of like if you're on a bye week, you got some players out. There's only one IR, so you really got to think about like who you're going to drop, who you're going to pick up.
Yeah, that I love the settings. Like I'm like really mad if I have a I always look ahead. I have a tough 4 weeks. I pretty much have to win like probably 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4. And
Yeah,
it's a tough schedule. I think I got like you, I think I got Kush, I think I got Vimal who's like number one. I've got a really tough next 3 out of 4 weeks. So that one and the same thing with the sleeper league. It's a tough next 4 weeks. So like I have
yeah,
a
yeah.
I'm out
I think though
on both.
I think though you've got a chance though in that second league. That sleeper league I think is gonna be
Yeah,
tough just because I
yeah,
believe the last two spots are points.
yeah. And my point
You know what I
suck.
mean?
Yeah.
And
And
that's what I mean.
Mina, I actually don't like that feature that we have with points. Who gives a crap? Like we're playing. Like I wish I could fight that with you guys. Like from the beginning, I've hated that. Like it's only 10 people. Like whoever has the six best records, it's we're playing matchups. We're playing week to week matchups, and it's win or lose. So if I got lucky and I for some weird reason played 10 matchups or 15 matchups, whatever, throughout the season, and I got lucky and I got a winning record. I got lucky. I got a winning record. But now we're looking at it. Oh, Mina's 2-7 or 2-8. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
just okay. That what a shame. He's had a lot of tough matchups, and he's played maybe you or maybe me, and we get him that week. This week he again he lost to
yeah,
Kush by like
yeah.
by like a half a point.
I
That
saw.
that's just luck. Like like he would have but he would have lost to almost everybody that this week. So I don't know like it's just when it's just that particular matchup on that particular week. That's what I like about fantasy football. Like you could go 9-1 or 8-2 and not have that the greatest team and everybody's talking trash. Like, yo,
Yeah,
your team really isn't
yeah,
that good. But I'm like, my record, I'm 8-2. Like I play who I play and I win. Um,
yeah.
so that's my
I see it both ways.
yeah
I can see it both ways, bro. I do like that only for the fact that
points.
you're always going to get the combination of the best. You know, if you truly have the best team and you get the unfortunate luck of these matchups, and you're generating these points, because then it'd be a shame too for like, let's say if you're one of the top points getter in in the season in that league, and you miss the playoffs because of the record. So I think I can see it both ways,
Yeah,
but I do like the setup.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the only other thing that I didn't like for the sleeper is a lot of bench. It's a little bit too many bench. And now that you see only like 6 people are really doing ad drops.
Right, right.
So like if there were just less benches, they'd just be a little bit more players in the pool,
That's
in the waiver pool.
that's the thing, bro.
Nothing.
it's like garbage on the waivers right now. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's like the third string
Yeah,
quarterback or the
yeah,
fourth string running back. So like I don't that's what I don't like. And like Lalo, he's like he's like invisible. He's got like 7 guys on his team that are IR. Seven
yeah,
like I be playing around with him every couple months. I'm like, drop this 6 people. Like all of them need to get dropped. They're all like under like 35%. Like that's kind of one of my strategies. If I see percentages, percent rostered, if it's like under 40%, that's telling me that that guy stinks.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like it's just real simple arithmetic with the sleeper and a little bit of the stats. Um, anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about the Yahoo
Yeah,
one, the Yahoo 12 team league.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is there what are you going to be doing in the next couple of weeks? Is there somebody that you're targeting on the waiver? On
Yeah,
that one,
well,
there's more picks on the waiver.
there is, but there isn't. So I glanced at it today, and then
Yeah,
so for the main, the flex and like the wide receiver running back position, there really isn't a whole lot anymore,
yeah,
honestly, on there. There is like there's some decent tight ends on there, right? But then this year I feel like that tight end position is more like an equalizing position. I mean, there isn't truly that one stud tight end that's just been week in
yeah,
and week out,
yeah,
dominating.
yeah, yeah.
So, in terms of quarterbacks, I think there's quarterbacks on the waiver, but you really don't need one if, at this point, for the most part, unless you're dealing with injuries. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know. For like a couple of weeks ago, I saw Tillman, and then I'm like, okay, all the receivers are gone, so I'm like, okay, let me scoop him up.
Yeah.
But when I looked like earlier, I'm like, I don't see anybody
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks it just like faded away. There's less injuries. Like I said, there's not that big running back injury that usually happens right around now. Like for me, Kyron Williams, like he's somebody
Yeah,
like around this time he gets injured.
yeah,
And he's not. So it's like that's why in a lot of leagues I like Blake Corum. I liked Benson from
okay,
Arizona. Think
okay.
thinking thinking that Connor always gets injured.
I know.
Williams always gets injured, and they're not. They're not.
No,
So
they're
like,
not, man.
so after like week 2 and week 3, I just started dropping all those guys.
And that's the
And
thing. Normally in a normal league where you have a longer bench, you're like, okay, you can stock them away. But in this league, it's like a short bench, so you really can't, keep them.
yeah, like in that league, I actually do love the settings. I love the settings way more than our sleeper league, which is way too deep and only 10 players. I like 12. It's 12 and a small bench. I like it because I do like doing waivers. I do like doing ad drops. It's just there's just like recently the last couple of weeks there just isn't anyone. I've been dropping guys and I'm like I wonder if anyone's gonna pick him up like Deontay
Yeah,
Johnson because
yeah,
he got traded. I had him and he was part of my receiver stack. On the Panthers, he's getting a lot of looks, a lot of garbage points. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was liking it. I was like, yeah. And then they traded him to the Ravens. I was like, this is exactly what I don't need. Like he's gonna do nothing, and he did. 2 weeks he did nothing. I had to let him
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
But that I was like, I wonder if anyone's gonna look at him. I just dropped Ferguson from the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Like,
he doesn't have much value
yeah,
anymore.
two he had 2 games and he had 2 games with Prescott. So I just like I traded for him another sneaky trade that I thought I
Yeah,
did in our sleeper um to trade for Ferguson and I had McBride. I let go of McBride because I was like I'm gonna get somebody like Ferguson. I thought Ferguson was gonna have a big year,
yeah, I thought
like
so too.
and it's a total dud. 2 games, I think, like two 15-point games. That's what hurt me in my sleeper league too. Laporta and Ferguson, which I thought were like top 5 tight ends, are just duds
Yeah,
this year.
yeah,
Like you said with
yeah.
tight ends,
Even look, you look at Andrews this year. He hasn't really done much.
he was injured. He was
Even Kelsey consistently is not what it like. So that's what I'm saying. There's not one like stud tight end like week in and week out like previous years.
Yeah, that hurt me a lot in the sleeper league. I'm already rest in peace. I'm already like on reflection. After I went to sleep on the Thursday night game with the
Mhm.
Bengals, and Chase had like 80 yards and a touchdown. And I woke up at like 3 o'clock and went to bed and looked at my phone that was charging, and it said Jamar Chase 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow 470 yards. I was like, when the hell did that happen? I was watching the game. It was like 21-17, the third quarter.
Uh, I know I was out to a dinner and then I got home. I clicked on that sleeper app. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, I already have this thing wrapped up on a Thursday.
Yeah, I was like, LOL, it's over. I'm looking at
Yeah,
memes and reels on Instagram so I can
yeah, yeah,
cry. I can cry all day and all night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like I wasn't even looking at the score Sunday. Like I was like, and it was like 4 guys were on
yeah,
by, like Love, Reed, Wicks,
yeah, yeah.
somebody, Cooper was out. I was like, it's like I have absolutely no chance. Just off of Burrow and Chase. That was
Crazy.
of course, it had to be
Yeah.
against me. It was like the fantasy gods and Gammon smacking me in my face. Like, why did you trade Jamar Chase to Naaman? Just smacking me, man. It hurts so bad. But before we get off, like that was my
Yeah.
whole strategy. Like I had Jamar Chase, I have Love, and I had
Yeah.
Laporta. Everybody else was like blah. And Mixon, I was like, I'm gonna just blow this
Right.
up. I'm gonna
Right.
trade Chase. I'm gonna trade Chase Mixon. I'm gonna keep Laporta because tight ends, there's not that many good tight ends. I was like, and I'm gonna keep Love because I think he's top five.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's and everybody, and I'm going to get a lot of rookies because I thought the receivers in the NFL draft this year were going to be was loaded. McConkey,
Hmm.
Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, like I
Yeah.
could Bowers, I could go Worthy, I could go on and on. It was like 13 receivers. So I was like, I'm just going to
Right.
load up, and I thought it also all those receivers being good and all the quarterbacks, like 7 of them, that was going to make running backs in the third round. That's why I wanted third round picks. I was like, I'm going to get a whole bunch of running backs.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, Braylon Allen, Tracy. I missed Tracy. I have no idea how I missed
yeah.
Tracy. Maybe
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving,
Yeah.
Bucky Irving, Tracy, B. Allen, Shipley. I liked from Clemson. The Dolphins guy, Wright. I thought he was going to be good. Tennessee. So I was like, I'm going to get receivers. I'm going to get running backs. I'm going to get draft picks. I'm going to get and I'll start with trading Case, and I'll just get a whole bunch of assets. And I thought it was going to work out. Like maybe next year.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. You don't know, like when you have all these draft picks, you might get lucky first year one. Some of these might hit. You others might have to wait it out year two and three and hope
Yeah,
they start, developing, hitting at that point.
yeah, yeah. Totally heard. Maybe we'll do this again in a couple of weeks or a month. Oh, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to be here. She wants to get off. But I just wanted to keep it short. We're like at
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
But
done. Done.
but
It
I
was
thank
cool
you.
though.
Yeah, I thank you for getting on naming up. Maybe we could I'll show this to all our guys in our league on WhatsApp and try to get recruit more people to do this with
That'd be
us.
fun,
Um
man. That'd be fun.
Thank you.
Cool. All
God,
right, brother. You have a
God,
good night.
you too. God
All right.
bless. Bye.
All right. Bye.